Hello, this is Nora from China. Today I'm going to tell you some small tips of entering China in this year. So far, I know there are many countries that have removed their COVID-related restrictions, but Asian countries are much slower. China still has a very restricted quarantine policy, and also you need to do many tests before and after entering China. So I hope this video is helpful, and I hope you could be fully prepared for our policy and this new situation. At the beginning, I need to point out China is super big, and we have provinces, city, county, town. Every administrative unit may follow a rule in a different way. So normally, capital cities, bigger cities, they are more open, and for smaller places, they are kind of more cautious about COVID-related things. So your quarantine experience could be different. It all depends on where is your destination city and where is your entry city. So the first step of entering China is to book your flight to China. And it's still very tough and challenging to book your flight ticket by yourself. Flights to China are still very limited, even though we have already restarted some routes in this year. But I'm sure you can get some help from your employers and your universities. If not, I really recommend you to book your flight directly with the airlines. You can go to our Chinese embassy's website in your country to see how many routes are there and who are these airlines, and to book a ticket directly from their staff to see if they can really arrange a successful flight for you. And really not to book your flight with some unknown agencies, because I know many Chinese people have been scammed in this way. And another tip is you really need to check your flight status at least 2 weeks before your departure, because our Chinese aviation authority has such a policy, which is to punish these flights who have taken COVID cases. The punishment is to stop this flight for several weeks. It all depends on how many cases have been found in the last trip. So you'd better be prepared for any changes before your arrival. Things will be easier once you get on your airplane to China, and the next thing is to worry about the quarantine policy of your destination city and your entry city. It will be super lucky if your destination is the same as your entry city, but it's still super normal when they are not the same. So China now has a 7+3 quarantine policy, which is 7 days at hotel, 3 days at home, which is so much better than the last year when I returned. I was 14 days at hotel plus 3 days home health check like that, but still another quarantine. For people who don't have a home to quarantine, you have another option, which is continue last 3 quarantine days at the same hotel. Your hotel will let you fill a form for that, just follow their instructions. Another option is you can go to your destination city to finish your last 3 days quarantine. But you really need to check about your destination city's policy about home quarantine, and also get the permission from your local community in your destination city. You must have a question where to find them, where to get this up-to-date information for that. So I recommend you to remember a website, which is benibao.com. This is a commercial website, but it really provides many useful information for locals. So, and also you can open it through your PC's browser and also your phone. Even you can search it through WeChat. And of course, Google Translate does a good job on their pages. You are able to find where are these COVID test sites and how to connect with local community staff in your destination city, in your district. So I'm sure you will find really useful things if you take good advantage of it. If your destination is a smaller city, a town, a village, You really need to be careful about extra quarantine time. Just like what I said, smaller cities are more cautious about COVID-related risks, so it's possible for them to tell new entrants to quarantine longer than the general rule. So if you've been told by local community staff that you need to quarantine longer than 10 days, you have a right to complain about it by calling our city's hotline and CDC hotline, which is 12345 and 12123. If you are not good at Chinese, you can also ask your colleague, your employer, and your HR and your friends to help you with these things. Like other countries, we also have a contact tracing system, and it's super useful and efficient. We have 2 codes for contact tracing. One is health code, another is travel code. So these 2 codes normally have 3 colors. One is green and yellow and red. So green means super safe, you are able to go everywhere, and yellow means need to stay at home because you may be a subcontact or a contact for a positive case, and red means you are unfortunately a positive case and you need to be centralized quarantine or go to hospital. So for people who just enter China, you will probably get a yellow code during the first week, and the color of it will change to green after your first 7 days quarantine. And if it hasn't changed, you can also report this issue to 12345. I'm sure they will help you, but it will just take some time to double check with your code. And every province has developed their own health code system, which means you need to apply another health code before you go to another city. And I highly recommend you to apply your code 1 day before you enter a new city. It will just take 2 minutes on that. After your quarantine, we are able to go out. The first thing for you is to get your mobile card in China, because to apply health code and travel code, the telecommunication company needs to access the data to trace where are you and where have you been in the last 7 days. In China, almost every place needs you to show your health code and your travel code. So no phone number, no codes, no places to go. And another thing you need to do is to apply a bank account. But it's really harder than years before COVID, because recently we've been taking measures against fraud. Banks are more cautious when they issue new cards. And it's unlikely for passport holders to get your new bank account before you finish your resident permit registration. Because when you apply your new card, the bank needs to check your visa status and to get a copy of your resident permit. The whole experience also varies from person to person, place to place. I hope you can prepare for that and just have more patience. So this is my today's general introduction for entering China 2022. I hope it's helpful for you to understand what it is like living in China and what we meet after you arrive. Things could be different from your home country, but what you need to do is just to get used to that. I hope and believe our quarantine policy will also change in the near future, as Hong Kong has already shown a good signal. So I hope your trip to China goes well with my tips, and please give my video a like and follow me, as I will be doing more videos about my current life in China from an authentic Chinese view. Thank you so much. I'm Nora. See you again.